Now they become part of a unit that's called Task Force Barker, which is multiple companies, of which Charlie Company is one of them, and this lieutenant colonel, like battalion commander, he is the commander of this task force, and his name is Colonel Frank Barker, so they named the task force after him, and they send him up to this province. Now, back to the book, inside their fire bases, men of the task force enjoyed as much of the American world as could be flown in by helicopter. They received their mail, American newspapers, cold beers, steaks, ice cream, Coca-Cola, and Playboy magazine. But all around them was the world of the Viet Cong. And I got another interesting thing from this book, just to show the extent that they did this. There was 40 ice cream plants built in Vietnam to supply the troops with ice cream. Another figure that I read was that each soldier in Vietnam used 100 pounds of supplies a day. Dang. Crazy. Now the guys, they move into this new province, Quang Ngai, and they start to encounter some combat. And I'm very careful to say they're not really encountering VC. They're not getting in a bunch of firefights, but they are getting in some. And this is they're in their first firefight, and here we go, back to the book. The men in their first firefight were discovering things about each other and about themselves. Greg Olson recalled, "We were pinned down in a trench taking a lot of fire. Sergeant Cowan was on one side of me, putting up his helmet to get some bullet holes in it, almost like it was amusing. On the other side, there was this other guy just sobbing. He'd come unglued, crawling around like a dog, just lost it. The first platoon withdrew under cover of massive artillery bombardment. According to some of the men, Callie was totally lost. He led them back towards the river. As they broke cover, the snipers started up again. Ron Weber, Callie's radio operator, took a shot which shattered his radio set and tore his kidney out. He died a few moments later. Charlie Company's first killed in action. His horrified companions lifted him onto the hovering medevac helicopter. A GI in shock blubbered and howled. No one had known much about shock before. If we got hit much harder, we would all go into shock, Callie told his court-martial nearly 3 years later. It was terrifying. A terrifying experience. In later years, Callie admitted that he'd been careless. He had led his men into an exposed position. So they're in a firefight, and they're trying to break contact, and Callie leads him out into an open area and gets one of his guys killed.